Hey guys, this video is about how to deal with urges, or more specifically, how I have personally dealt with urges over the last 5+ years, almost 6 years that I've been clean from porn and masturbation. I was just having a conversation with a guy who was asking me because he just had a recent relapse with his porn habit, and he was like, I was just so aroused and so horny and I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take control. And he asked me a very genuine question. He looked at me, he was like, so how do you do it? What do you do in those moments when you're just feeling an uncontrollable, impulsive desire to go back to the habit and watch porn and masturbate? And I really thought about it, and I was like, I never have those kinds of situations because I don't ever let myself get that far. So this is what this video is really about. So you might think that beating porn and masturbation is, and having these urges to go back to that old habit, are just gonna be part of your life all the time. And you're just gonna wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and just have strong urges, or you're just gonna see something trigger you online. And it's a reality that's like, you can never not see stuff that's sexual. You're always gonna be living in a world where there's gonna be sexual content around every corner, right? So what he told this guy is there's a sequence of events and micro decisions that are happening that lead up to you becoming in a position and in a situation, an environment, a state of mind that makes you most vulnerable and susceptible to acting out and having this uncontrollable, impulsive desire to watch porn, all right? So what I do is I never let myself get there. How? Let me ask you this first of all, you watching. The last time that you did act out and slip up, right? Tell me, what was the trigger that caused that? What was the trigger that caused you that day to go down that rabbit hole and search for that thing online, and eventually watch porn, masturbate, etc., or just even masturbate while fantasizing, whatever. Now, most people that I ask that question to will say something like, oh, I saw something on YouTube or Instagram, or I saw this thumbnail and it kind of led me down this path of searching for stuff and etc., etc. So you think currently that the trigger for your porn habit is something that you see, right? Most people believe that, understandably. However, it's not true that it's always an external factor, an external trigger that makes you feel aroused, right? Because the proof of that is sometimes when you see something online or sexual in nature, you don't really notice it, right? Let me know if that's true. And sometimes you do notice it, or sometimes you go to the gym and you notice that you are like watching all the people and you're noticing all the people there, all the women, right? And sometimes when you go to the gym, you just ignore everything because you're so focused and you don't even notice people around you, right? Also, maybe when you go to the mall, the same thing. Also, maybe sometimes when you're on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, there's some times where you're in the zone, you're in a flow, you're in a state of mind that you're just not very, you don't notice that kind of stuff. So that means, guys, the actual trigger for why you acted out the last time that you did in your life was not the external trigger. It was not the thing you saw. So that means there's something before that. So I asked this guy that I was talking to, what happened before that, before you saw that thing on Instagram? Well, I was really stressed out that day. I was like, okay, interesting. Here we go. So in this cycle of relapse, the name of the game, guys, is understanding your emotional state at all times. And this is what I do. This is how I don't have urges to go back to porn, ever. Because I have become intensely good at understanding my emotional state, my anxiety and stress in particular. Because anxiety and stress are the biggest triggers, according to studies, that cause men to feel a need to escape, to mood regulate, and to have some kind of emotional crutch in their lives. So I'm willing to bet that the last time you acted out was you were particularly stressed, anxious about something in your life. You were maybe frustrated. You were bored on that day. Maybe you were a little depressed. Maybe you were sad because you were having an argument with somebody. Maybe work is ramping up or schoolwork is ramping up, etc., etc. And that's what caused you to feel stressed. So this guy I was talking to, I asked him like, okay, how has been your life situation nowadays? What have you been doing, regarding your work and school? And he's like, well, there's a lot going on. He's started a new job. He's really busy with his schoolwork. He's got all things going on. He's, going to church. He's involved in all kinds of groups. He's got his family obligations, and he's taking on more and more responsibilities, right? So I was like, okay, the bottom line is you relapsed and you acted out because you felt a lot of anxiety and pressure and stress from all the stuff that you're juggling in your life. He's like, yeah. So what are your options? What options do you have in this situation? And he was like, I thought about it for a second. He was like, well, I could just remove some stuff from my life so that I don't have so much going on. I was like, yes, that is an option. Option 1, you remove stuff from your life and you get more focused on just a couple of things that you can do really well instead of doing a mediocre job at everything. You just focus, right? That's option 1. Option 2 is you just live the way that you've been living, just stressed, anxious all the time, and then you never really figure out how to deal with anxiety and stress and the frustration of life, and you just kind of always go back to porn and masturbation or whatever destructive habit because you never figured out how to deal with those emotions, right? Or option 3 is you learn how to deal with your anxiety and stress in a productive way so that you can excel in all of those areas of your life, including work, including school, including relationships, including your passions, including sports, including your fitness, exercise, etc. If you can be the man that does not have crippling anxiety and stress anymore in your life, what would that look like for you? Because at the end of the day, guys, what I'm here to help you guys do, and this guy I was talking to, is not just quit porn for the sake of quitting porn. I'm helping you do that and have mastery over your emotional state at all times so that you can achieve more, so you can focus on bigger and better things. Because when you are a man that's not bogged down by the shame and guilt and remorse and hypocrisy of a porn and masturbation addiction, you will have excess amounts of energy, time, focus to do things that you really care about. I have created a safety net in my life. I have created a support system of people in my life, my wife, my brother, my parents, friends, group of friends I have, that I can always go to when I'm feeling stress, anxiety, so that I never ever feel urges to go back to porn. And guess what? I have excess energy, focus, drive, time, sex drive to really do stuff that I really care about, that's important to me, and I don't ever struggle with fantasies or urges or anything like that, because life is way more exciting than that, and I don't ever get into the boxing ring with that little monster, and because I know that if I engage it a little bit, if I go down the rabbit hole a little bit, I'm gonna lose the battle every time. So I don't even engage. So that's how I manage emotions. Just to recap, cycle back to why you're feeling these emotions. Have some introspection and self-awareness. And let me remind you, the reason that people develop addictions is because of a lack of emotional self-awareness. The reason that people don't have addictions, women in other words, are very good with handling addictions, generally speaking, because they understand their emotions much better than men do. Men typically are more susceptible to violence, abuse, alcoholism, smoking, drugs, whatever you want to say, because we don't have, generally speaking, much emotional awareness. If you are tired of keeping porn and masturbation in your life, just follow this channel because I'm posting videos just for you guys.